we're going to go ahead and move on to this next story. And this is going to be kind of the big story. I wasn't personally affected by the hurricane that came through. It did come right past us, but it shifted. So the storm, as it passed through Georgia, and it may have started shifting in Florida. I don't know where it started shifting based off of what was originally drawn. But the heaviest winds are on the right side or the east side of the storm, and the west side or the left side of it, significantly less winds. So when the map was drawn, we were seeing the track and everything, we were going to be on the right side, the east side of it. We're going to get terrible winds, huge winds. When it came through, it didn't. It went over to the right. It was further off to our east. And so we were on the west. And I mean, my backyard gate kind of blew open a little bit. My dogs got out that morning. I don't leave my dogs outside, and I didn't leave them outside during a hurricane. I let them outside, and I was like, they've been out there a while without scratching at the door to come back in. Let me go check on them. Up there around the corner, down the street. Little wiener dog, half deaf, half blind, and a big old scary looking pit bull. Glad I found them. But that was the worst thing that I had. And I chuckled a little bit because it was supposed to be significantly worse. And I'm like, oh man, if that's the worst I have, I am so blessed and so grateful for that. Because let me tell you something. I'll come back here. So I work full time, and I'm not going to try to dox myself any more than I already do, but I do work full time in IT, but I work IT for an insurance company for the state of Georgia. Okay. I talk to people in every single county in the state of Georgia. I talk to field representatives, auditors, whoever out there that's in the field, on the roads, driving around, assessing the damage, all that stuff, right? I talk to people that are in our main home office, and I work with them. And over the course of like talking to all these people on a daily basis, there are people out there that don't think they'll have power for almost a month. There are people going to work, and this is what I love about the people that I associate with. I love whoever said it. I'm sure multiple people said it, but like, surround yourself with 4 millionaires, you're going to be the fifth. Surround yourself with 4 losers, you're going to be the fifth. It's one of those kind of things. You are the company you keep, right? So when I get to hang out with people like Robert Herv, the Washcast and Spin Cycle, Sean from Third Relified, Jacob Berry from Studio Jake, the Talking Nerds, Big and Bluey. When I get to hang out with these people, I'm in good company. I only want to associate people that I'm going to elevate them, and they're going to elevate me, and we're going to help each other out and be supportive of each other. Positive vibes, nothing but positive vibes here. That you guys see. And outside of this, in like the filmmaking world and stuff like that, it's the same thing. The company that I work for is so freaking awesome, and the people that work there are so amazing. We got insurance agents that don't have power at their house, don't have running water at their house, but they're going into the office, hooking up a generator so you can get their internet up and running if their provider is providing internet. If not, they're getting some kind of hotspot or cell phone hotspot or mobile hot. They're doing whatever they can to get back up and running, not so they can write new business after a hurricane done rip through, but so they can file the claims and get these people taken care of and get checks sent out immediately. The company I work for is one of the best freaking insurance companies there is. They're not one of the biggest names companies, and they're not the cheapest company, but they are almost always the first ones writing checks, out there checking on you, getting you taken care of. I've heard that from many personal friends of mine. They're like, dude, I had a check within 48 hours of a major disaster of my house. I couldn't believe it. I have friends with other insurance companies, and they still haven't seen their provider, or their reps or whatever. So I'm very honored to be affiliated with those people. That being said, I'm hearing stories like that. I'm hearing that they have to drive through other people's parking lots to get to their building because their building is completely blocked off by downed trees. I'm hearing that they haven't been able to take a shower, but they're out there working to help other people in the community. I'm hearing about a tree falling on somebody that was trying to move debris out of the road so emergency services can get through, and in pulling it and doing so, another huge limb fell, went through the tree and killed him. These are real stories. And I'm kind of getting amped up a little bit And I hope you get a little amped up here a little bit and see why. I've got family in Valdosta, Georgia, and that was hit bad. That was hit bad. You've got Florida hit bad. You've got that path going from kind of the south central, south west, I guess, of Georgia, toward the panhandle of Florida there. So you got from there up to the northeast, off into South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and all that. Right, damage like we've never seen in a path, like just blows your mind. Now, conspiracy theorists aside, all you guys, it's a storm of mass destruction, and that's where I'm going to focus on, that and the responses to it. And that's where I'm really getting amped up about some stuff. Okay. So just a couple of articles, again, not going to read through these whole things, but just kind of to paint a picture, especially for those of you that are unaffected. You don't know what's going on. You're in other parts of the country or other parts of the world. I know I got people that are outside the United States that watch. Love you. God bless you. So just to kind of give you a little bit more insight, I mean, internet and phone outages cut some Hurricane Helene. I keep hearing Helen, but to me, I want to say Helene. Victims off from the world. That is correct. There are some towns that no longer exist. The entire town is gone. There are some towns, was it Asheville, that's like completely shut off from the outside world. The bridges going into it are down. The roads are busted up. No internet, no power, no cell service, no nothing. In fact, again, one of the county guys that I was talking to, he said they didn't even have 911 working. So if there was an emergency, they're screwed. They better figure out how to call somebody else. And that breaks my heart. We got to get this country back up and running. This is part of it, right? We got to be there for each other. We're the United States of America. This is like a Katrina kind of thing, a 9/11 kind of thing. Let's come together. Let's put our differences aside and help these people out. And again, I'm not just saying that because it came through my state and it affected people that I know. I don't care about that. We're supposed to look out for one another. Now, you can argue the immigrants, illegal immigrants, and controversies around. I'm talking about man looking out for man, number one. Two, American citizen looking out for American citizen. I'm talking about us. In a time where we're most divided with this election coming up, we should be out here in these streets helping each other out in one way or another, to whatever degree that we can. I don't expect you to run out there with a chainsaw and do it. If you don't have a chainsaw, you don't know how to use a chainsaw, that's not your thing. Maybe your thing is you've got a little extra cash. I'm going to tell you about an organization that's out there with boots on the ground doing stuff right now, even more, I would say, than our federal government. And you can donate to them and they'll go out there with the chainsaws and the trucks and do the work. House people, clothe people, feed people, clear the roadways, try to rebuild houses as best they can, help them go through. I mean, the work that's being done by some people is just mind blowing, especially with it being so close to it just passing through. And it's probably not even dried up in a lot of areas. There's still damaged wet goods everywhere. Flooding still going on. And they're out there working their asses off to help these people out. But is the government? Sorry, jumping ahead. But these guys are hit hard, right? Here's another one from Reuters, or I used Yahoo because Reuters wanted to charge me. Screw those guys. U.S. Southeast faces costly cleanup as death tolls rise. I mean, I won't play the audio here. I don't think it's going to play. But just look. Look, there's the foundation. There's I mean, yeah, these are near the ocean or whatever, but look at that. I mean, so much destruction here. Of course, it's going to freeze up on me, but you guys get the point. It's just, the headline speaks about the costly cleanup, and it is a costly cleanup. And for some people, it cost them their lives. The storm did. What's interesting to me, and I'm not the only one to say this, and it's not just Trump supporters or right-wing extremists or MAGAs. We say this for everything. We say this for so much. There's a lot of people that believe that before we go off giving billions and billions of dollars that we don't even have, to other countries that result in a zero return on investment. There's nothing we get out of it. Instead of giving them billions of dollars, we should be making sure there's no child in this country that's homeless. No veteran that has served this country that's homeless. People out there that are addicted to drugs and trying to get off of them, we should have all kinds of opportunities for them to get off of. There's too many clinics that have full beds and they can't get into it, and then we got them out on the streets like garbage. Like the leper. Stay away from me. Look, again, this is where I kind of cross that line to liberalism, I think, a little bit there. I want to do more. But the thing is that the conservative part kicks in. It's like, but we don't have the means to do it. Or it's always funny to me that we don't have the means to do certain things, but we do have plenty to do other things. And right now what we're seeing is those other things don't do anything for us. We always got money for war, and part of me is okay with that, because if there ever is a war, dear God, let us make sure we are financing the heck out of it so we win. I mean, whatever we got to do. As far as funding other countries to go to war, as far as, and this is true, the study of fish overseas in the desert or something crap like that, or making sure some other country's borders are secure, or transgender studies and whatnot in Afghanistan. I don't know. We're funding Afghani trannies. That's what I know. YouTube's going to love that, by the way. Our money's going to all this stupid crap. Billions upon billions of dollars. We have a deficit year after year after year. Don't get deficit and debt confused. We're always going to be in debt, I'm pretty sure. No one is trying to work on the debt. They're just trying to work on the deficit. The debt is how much we owe. Okay? The deficit is, here's our budget. Here's how much we actually spent. It's that difference right there. It's the deficit between the actual budget, our annual budget, and how much we spent. So when they say, oh, we lowered the deficit, you just spent less over the budget than you did before, but you still spent over the budget. That's why someone who's been successful in the business world recently did a significantly better job than people that have spent half of their life, if not more, as a politician running this country. You can't run a business like that. I love it. It was Rand Paul said, why are we giving money that we don't have to people we don't like, you know, or to other people. I don't remember how he said it. I started putting my own spin on it because I'm irritated. So we got this hurricane rips through, right? Let's go back over here. This hurricane rips through. And I know I'm a little behind on this. And there's some news breaking daily on this. And I try not to cover stuff that's like this, that's having news breaking daily, because when it comes out and you guys see it, you'll be like, Chris, that's old news. But it's still important. And it's not necessarily the incremental facts that I'm getting in a row that are like, oh, this is new, this is new, this is the dollar amount. No, it's more big picture. It's broad. That's what I'm trying to present to you. From Gateway Pundit here, Joe Biden tells Americans suffering in flood disaster zones, no, there won't be more resources coming. We've given them all we have. And it's in a video. And this guy right here, he's not running the country. He's never been running the country, unless it was like when he first came in and handed the keys to somebody else for that 27 minutes that it took for him to do all of that. Here you go. My butt's been wiped. Do we have the video? Can't remember if it's in here or not. Watch this, man. It's heartbreaking.
Get out of the way. She went. Oh, God. She went. Damn. There went the 107 bridge. 107 highway bridge.
The 107 bridge. I don't know where that is exactly, but you're talking about a bridge that connected this part of a town, or maybe the entire town, to civilization outside of that town, which may have been the only place where they could have gotten gas, gotten food, gotten diapers, baby formula, whatever it may be. I know we tend to go to the baby side a lot more, but that's because they're needy. Think about the elderly. Think about the supplies that are needed from for them, like the oxygen tanks and whatnot. My brother has a job where he delivers that, and it's such a crucial thing. People don't think about these things. You need power to run so much of this stuff, and then you need the tanks themselves, and you can't get it if your freaking bridge is blown up. That thing just washed away like it was nothing. Mother Nature ain't no joke. I was looking for the, here it is. Here it is.
Yes, it's tragic. As a matter of fact, we're trying to get the exact number. My FEMA advisor is on the ground in Florida right now. There's a distinction between the numbers that FEMA's used and the ones that are used by the locals. So it really is amazing. You saw the photographs. It's stunning.
It's unbelievable.
It really is.
Such a wide area.
And we've given them all everything that we have. We're on the ground ahead of time, so we're working hard.
Are there any more resources the federal government could be giving them?
No, we have pre-planned a significant amount of it, even though they didn't ask for it yet. Hadn't asked for it yet.
All right, so we're going to give you guys a certain amount of money for aid down there to recover. But you got to ask for it first, but that's all. You're not getting much. And I think I saw Kamala say the other day, he's like, oh, we're going to give out $750 to you guys, kind of like the Maui folks, $700. Hey, look, I'm sure they appreciate anything to help them out, but they want their house back. They want the power turned on. All that takes time and energy and money. And I'm telling you, when I'm driving up and down the interstate, which I don't do often anymore, but I have this week because we've had revival at church this week, and I don't live in the same town as my church anymore. So I drive 35, 45 minutes to my church down the interstate. And that interstate every single day has been lined up with these trucks, with the lifts and everything, the line worker truck guys, going down to Florida or coming up from Florida or wherever. Every time I'm on the interstate, I can see them going both ways. They are working tirelessly to do it, but the federal government, I can only imagine how little they could care about this, but they will be in a hurry to go sign a check for billions upon billions for another country. You guys remember when she said this, and she said this a while back, but, and I'm sharing it from InWokeness. I don't know if InWokeness did this, but I've been sharing a lot from InWokeness. They put out great stuff. But she said this, and they overlaid it over the actual footage from this hurricane in, I think that may be Tennessee or North Carolina. It doesn't really matter. It's all about the same, but listen to what she says about these natural disasters, or what she said. This was prior to the hurricane. This was back when she was running for president, or back when she was vice president, early on. I can't remember exactly when she said it, but listen to what she said.
It is our lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions and impacted by issues that are not of their own making. And so absolutely. And so we have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. And if we want people to be in an equal place, sometimes we have to take into account those disparities and do that work. It is our...
Screw you, lady. What she's saying, for those of you that may not be picking up what she's putting down, and that's fine if you don't. It's okay. Politicians are slimy creatures. What she's saying in a nutshell is, if there's a natural disaster hits that hits an area, and you have a wealthy community right here, which is really funny because there's a road in Macon where I grew up There's a road that as you drive down it, one side of the road is like cheap housing, ghetto looking, you know, broke down cars in the front yard. And then there was like a Kroger. The Kroger's closed now, but it was like all this kind of like, you don't want to be caught there after dark kind of thing. Then there's the Kroger. Then all of a sudden the houses are really, really nice. It's like, what transitioned at the Kroger? You know what I mean? In this scenario, she would go to that road. It's demolished because of the hurricane. She would say, well, we need to start in the poor, more diverse, more, you know, whatever she could find. You know, we don't care about the wealthy people. We care about the poor people. Or if it was a color thing, oh, well, maybe we don't care about white people as much as we care about black people. Or maybe, you know, we don't care about the legal citizens as much as we care about the illegal citizens. We already see that now, don't we? I hate all of that. Look, I as a filmmaker, you know, I poke fun at racism all the time. I do think racism is funny because it's stupid, right? I pick at it all the time in films. My writing partner, my filmmaking partner, my best friend, he's black. We both just laugh at this because we're like, we don't understand this. Like, why do some white people hate black people? I don't know. Just because they're black. Why do some black people hate white people or Asian people? Or why do Asian people hate black? Like, I don't get it. I mean, maybe it's because of where I grew up and how I grew up. Anytime something racist comes out of my mouth, it's sarcasm or it's a joke, meaning in jest that I would make in front of whoever I'm saying it about. It's never meant to be harmful or hurtful, ever. But we've got politicians out there, someone who's trying to be the leader of the free world saying, I'm going to prioritize in our own nation people that look a certain way, or maybe worship a certain way, or bank accounts look a certain way, or maybe even vote a certain way. I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying there's some speculation about this hurricane, the path it took, and why maybe aid didn't come into certain parts. I'm just saying. I'm not going there, but you can do your research. But she's saying maybe we take care of certain people before other people. Why don't you just go town by town, road by road, house by house? Why don't you just help people? We have to have these check boxes. Well, all right, now that we've helped all the black people in the neighborhood, let's start helping the white people. Oh, they're all dead. Just help people. Just help people. You know, people are going to be the way they're going to be. You can't you can't keep a racist person from being racist. You can do everything you can to influence, but it's up to them. If they're going to be racist, they're going to be racist, right? If they're going to drive, you know, the brand vehicle, the manufacturer they want to drive, that's their favorite. That's what they're going to drive. You know, if they're going to put ketchup on a steak like a madman, they're going to put ketchup on a steak like a madman. We are all individuals. We all have our own things. Okay. But you are a servant of the people in whatever capacity. President, VP, if you're a legislator, if you are, what was she, a district attorney or attorney, whatever. You're in that role to serve us, the people. You have to let your own personal biases go, and you've got to get out there and do the work to take care of the people that you're supposedly representing. And this is the party that always talks about inclusion. Remember, diversity, equity, inclusion. They don't care about inclusion when they have to include everyone. It's diversity and equity and including only certain folks, only certain groups. It's the biggest load of crock that I have ever heard pouted out by a political party. I do not like them for that. I don't like film, cinema, any of this art stuff that's coming out, TV. Like, quit doing this. Just make good films. Just take care of people. Just do the right thing, to quote Spike Lee, who's a black guy, and I quote him, therefore, ergo, not racist. Okay, maybe a little bit. But anyways, let's just take care of all people, right? So that's your federal government, guys. That's your federal government right there. Let's take a look here. There is an organization that have boots on the ground right now. Samaritan's Purse. Oh no, look, it's a scary cross right there. I'll tell you something, again, as a Christian, I already get enough hate in certain spheres, or with these protesting people for being a white male in America. I'm the worst. I get it. Who was it? Was it Don Lemon or whoever was saying like white males are like the biggest threat to America or something like that, and he's married to a white dude? I don't know. People are so stupid. All right. But then Christianity is like the accepted religion that you can pick on and attack and go after and ridicule and stuff. Well, for whatever reason, I don't know. But you know who's on the ground? These guys are. I'm specifically going to call them out because I was going to anyway in the coming weeks. Now I'll go ahead and kind of preview that a little bit. So Samaritan's Purse is run by Franklin Graham, the son of Billy Graham. Okay. Now coming up soon, I'm going to be pushing this right here. Operation Christmas Child. They actually go to everywhere. They go all over the world, and they take a shoebox, and that shoebox is filled with like toys, necessities, toiletries, all kinds of stuff. And they go out and they hand deliver it. And they also give them a Bible, and they spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. And now maybe that's not your thing. That's fine. But these kids are getting toothbrushes, pencils to write with, ways to do schoolwork, ways to learn, ways to stay healthy, ways to take care of themselves. And in otherwise locations where they can't get these goods. There's been villages where they take the shoe boxes that the stuff comes in, and they fashioned roofs over buildings because that was the best thing they had. And I know you can think of 1,000 or 1,000,000 other ways that organizations can do more, or places we can go serve better, or better uses of people's time. But this is what they want to do. They want to reach the ends of the world for Jesus Christ. I do too. I think this is a great way to serve people, and you serve them where you meet their need. These people need stuff. Go take them stuff. Show them the love of the Lord. And I'm calling them out now. And again, I'm going to talk more about this as we get closer to Christmas, because I would love for us to sponsor some boxes. You don't have to put the box together. You actually go on the website, and they can even put the box together for you with, you can select all kinds of stuff to put in there. And, it just takes a donation. I think they ask folks to donate for shipping. We do this at our church, and we had somebody sponsor so many boxes and already paid for the shipping for them. So all we got to do is put the boxes together, and, we can come up with something like that. I think us as a channel can really make a big difference with you guys. But I mentioned them again. I was already going to mention them in the coming weeks as we get closer and closer to Christmas, because that's someone I want to get behind. But Operation Christmas Child is part of Samaritan's Purse. Samaritan's Purse is right here. These guys right here, again, it's the totalitarian, the whole organization. Not totalitarian. That's the wrong word. I don't know. It's the umbrella organization. Let me just put it like that. It's the huge umbrella organization where Operation Christmas Child and some other organizations fall up under that. But they're a non-denominational evangelical Christian organization providing spiritual and physical aid to hurting people around the world. This is one of those times where you actually find people doing what they say they're going to do. And this is why I'm very, very proud of them. And they're not the only ones, to be fair. The Georgia State, the Georgia Baptist Convention, I think the Southern Baptist Convention. I mean, there's so many religious organizations out there that are putting boots on the ground, cutting up trees with chainsaws, pulling, trees and branches and all this stuff with, tying it to their trucks and pulling them out of the roads, helping people, feed them, clothe them, everything. We're going to scroll through this, just looking at some of the stuff. I mean, here they go. This is just something they do. They go in the name of Jesus Christ. They go there to minister to people in every way. But the first way is to physically take care of people. Give them food, give them shelter, give them something warm to wear. Make sure they're taken care of physically. They can't get to them spiritually if they can't take care of them first physically. That's the most important thing. And it's not like this, not like, oh, well, you didn't accept Christ as your Savior? Well, give me back that soup. No, they don't do that. We'll look at some more here. I forget what that is, but Says, in addition to our work in Western North Carolina, we are actively working in Valdosta, Georgia, and Perry, Florida. Again, I was mentioning Valdosta earlier, where I have family directly affected by this. Valdosta, Georgia, and Perry, Florida, to serve families suffering from Hurricane Helene, whatever. Watch his video to learn more about how our team is serving those in Florida in Jesus' name. And again, these people, if you don't come to Christ, they don't care. They would love for you to see the love through their works and lead you to Christ. That would be fantastic, because at the end of the day, our belief as Christians is that when we leave here, we go somewhere else. You do 100% go somewhere else. And the only way to get to heaven is through accepting Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. And they want that for them. They're not trying to push you into believing, something and get into a cult and, show up on Sundays. No, they want to save your soul. That's their belief. That's our belief. And I'm one of those people. I believe that. Absolutely 100%. Now, that's not what this channel is about. And we won't get into a deep dive on that right now. They're not out here like, hey, believe this and we'll help you. Oh, you're a Jew, we're not going to come help. No, they don't do that. They're not about the equitableness like Kamala Harris and them are talking about. They will help anyone and everyone. We've had youth go out and work with these folks, not Samaritan's Purse, but other organizations like this that have put in hot water heaters and replaced porches and stuff for houses that were decrepit that people were still living in. There was a woman one time that says she's lived in that house since it's like the 1920s or 30s. I can't remember how. It's been several years now, but she says she's never had hot water ever in the house. And they installed that for her. She got to take a hot shower for the first time and she cried. It was the most amazing thing. I'm getting teary-eyed just thinking about it. The works that these people do. And it just aggravates me so much that Christians are so demonized. Now, don't get me wrong. You got people out there, claiming the name of Jesus Christ that are doing just awful things. But when someone's sold out to the Lord and has truly dedicated their life to God and given themselves over to the Lord and born anew as this new creation, as someone who wants to be Christ-like in the sense of serving and loving unconditionally, these are the people making a difference. So I applaud Samaritan's Purse. I will put a link down in the show. Look at it. Golly, man. I'll put a link down in the show notes below. You can go help these, donate to these guys if you want to. Sorry. Like I said, we've had revival this week and, I'm hyped up about anything to do with the Lord. And we're going to get in that to our final segment in just a second, kind of wrap things up with this. But yeah, you can donate to them. I'll put a link down in the show notes below. You can donate to them. You can just go to their website and find more about them. Of course, I've got the X already linked down there below as well, because I'm obviously using them as a reference here. And I want to, again, stay true to my word that I link to all my references. But you can go check them out, see if there's somebody worth supporting in your eyes. And then if they are, maybe consider supporting them. I mean, if you're not getting out there with the chainsaws and the trucks and doing all this and that, and even if it's not for this hurricane, maybe it's for the next natural disaster that comes out. Every dollar can go, toward any of this kind of stuff. It helps them not only feed and clothe, the people they're going to serve, but it covers the food and the travel and everything that's needed for them to get there and back, the hours of travel for them to get there and back and to do these things, the gasoline for the chainsaws and, whatever. It's a fantastic organization. I've never tried to push an organization ever on my channel that I didn't agree with, or I didn't truly support myself or buy from. Coffee Brand Coffee's one. I've talked about them before. I'm an affiliate with them. 5% off your coffee for using discount code Mayhem. Links in the show notes below. Why am I doing that? Oh, because they're going to give me a little bit. No, I was already drinking Coffee Brand Coffee. I just got the number 5, which is the bourbon flavored coffee. Love it. I'll mention them all day long because I love their product. I think they do good work. Samaritan's Purse, I wouldn't mention them just because they're Christians. Look at what they're doing. They have more people actively out there, boots on the ground, making a difference than your federal government does with your already collected taxpayer dollars. That should aggravate you. I'm trying to pull back on a little of the cussing or cussing adjacent words here because again, I'm trying to be right. It's infuriating. It's infuriating.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.